How you doing, everybody? I hope everybody's well. It's Saturday evening, it's around tea time. It's the 3rd of July 2010, and I don't normally do what I'm going to do now, but I did a little video posting yesterday about the GDP versus the GNP of Ireland, and how basically out of it we were able to make a deduction that these multinationals are going to take out of Ireland about 34 billion this particular year. And what happened, anyway, cut a long story short, one particular, one of the viewers made a post 8 times. Now, you know who it is, this fella. I'm going to put the little link up to it and you have it. I'm going to do it now. Yeah, this is this guy's comments here. You can see 3 of them, I hope. Basically put in 8 of them. And some of them a bit confusing, but I think that they do warrant a response, and that's the idea of this little video. Okay, thank you. Oh my god, he is, and some of the stuff's quite confused. I think some confused notions, but at the core of it seems to be a defence of the relationship between capital and labour. Now, I don't want to go into this in any depth because going to go into Marxist dialectics if we go into this, and going to go into all sorts of pseudo-philosophical debates, and I don't really want to do that. I just want to deal with this from a really practical, street level understanding of a modern society. Now, the society we live in the 21st century, the 21st century, beginning of the 21st century, it's as an advanced capitalist society. It really links to the beginnings of the Industrial Revolution. Before that, you had a sort of a capitalist feudalist type of society. Anyway, it wasn't a fully developed capitalist society as we know it today. So all I want to say is that in economic order, just as in the political order, nothing is static. Everything changes. Before we had, this capitalist order that we know about, as I say, we had a sort of a pseudo-capitalist feudalist order, and then before that we had the feudal system de facto in real terms, and then before that with Rome we had another sort of capitalist, very basic capitalist type of a system, again based around feudalism and slavery. So it's quite complex. This thing today is just a development of those orders, and it'll change too. Be under no illusions, nothing stays static in the world of economics, politics or social behaviour. It all changes, history changes. Do you know what I mean? It goes along and it changes. And at the present moment we have a relationship which has grown up in Western Europe, and an ideology really, which I find is truly extraordinary. And the ideology basically states that labour is subordinate to capital. That capital is all companies and all economic orders that have a relationship where money, whether it be fiat money or real money as in gold and silver and commodity money that I call, it doesn't matter what it is, there is a relationship between the money, capital, and the labour which come together, and they provide the vehicle, the mechanism whereby wealth is created. Now, I just want to point this out to Omega in case he doesn't know, and I'm sure he should know because gardeners know this. All gardeners know this instinctively. I'm going to tell you, you can have a basic economic order which does not have capital, but you can't have any order, any economic order that does not have labour. It has to have labour. It does not have to have capital, money, either fiat money or real money. Alright? I've seen it in my own lifetime in the north of Ireland where I was. I saw a society implode in on itself. Didn't last too long, and the British intervened very, very quickly to resolve the matter. But while it was going on, it was pretty hairy. There was no money. The money didn't buy. The money you had didn't buy dick. Didn't buy anything. Didn't buy anything. The money you had, because you couldn't buy anything. So we're heading into dark times, and in those dark times, there's every possibility that we can end up in a situation where money is worthless. The Zimbabwe trick. Let me show you this. Hold on a second. See that stuff there? See that there? That's a Reichsnote. That was issued. That's a 10,000 Deutschmark Reichsnote, and it was issued in January of 1922. And when that was issued, that was worth a lot of money. That there subsequently wouldn't buy a box of matches. People went about with big barrel loads of that stuff to try and get a loaf of bread. Now we could be heading down that route. So don't be putting all your eggs into one basket and eulogising capital. Especially being a gardener. I understand you're a gardener. This video is directed towards you specifically because you've raised these issues. Now the other issue I want to talk about is you raised about the airline pilot. That the airline pilot flying the plane, he doesn't generate all the wealth of the company. We know that. Nobody's saying that. I never said that. But all the people in the airline generate the wealth of the airline. All of the people. From the person that cleans out the toilets at the back of the plane when the plane lands. He's just as important as a pilot. He's just as important. If you didn't clean the toilets out, nobody could go to the toilet, they wouldn't get on the planes. Everybody plays an important role in a company or a large economic enterprise. We all know that. It's like having a ship, a captain on a ship. He can't do anything without the radar, without the bloke at the top of the thing, the bird's nest, the old time bird's nest. Sailing ships, same thing. He was only a lonely little lad. But if he had bad eyesight or he didn't see the iceberg, we all know what happens. Or he didn't see what was ahead of him, some rocks or something. The boat floundered, the ship floundered. Get real. Everybody contributes. But the way it is within the economic order under capitalism, the executive officers and the shareholders, they're the main people that benefit from this whole enterprise, not the workers. Not the workers, who are essentially they get paid the smallest amount of anybody. The workers only get paid the tiniest amount, but they can be the most creative and the most. Obviously, it's their labour that creates the wealth. That's what goes on. Anyway, the other bit is about knowing your enemies. Listen, I'm not here to know enemies or anything else. The bottom line about it is very, very simple. We have an economic order and it's not sustainable. It is not practically sustainable. We are, if it were practicably sustainable, we would not be up to debt like we are here. Not only are individuals up to debt up to here, countries are up to debt up to here. In sovereign debt, they're about to go under. We're heading into dark and dangerous times as part of this capitalist order. And the greedy and the elite who head up this world, another thing which I've said a million times, I'm not going to say it, I'm going to say it 1,000,001 times, is the top 10% control 83% of the wealth. Top 1% control 42% of the wealth. What does that tell you about sustainability? It's not possible. This economic order is going to collapse. It's what we're going to replace it with. That's what we're discussing in these things on YouTube here. We're trying to get an idea. Where can we go forward? Are we just going to string people up on lampposts? And that's it, just have total anarchy? It won't work. That won't work either. We have to introduce a new order. And that order, whether you like it or I like it or anybody else likes it, will have to depend less on capital. Because it's this dependency on capital that has brought us to this state. We're all up to here in debt and under pressure from massive international companies and massive international corporations. It's a soft fascism, it's pseudo-fascism. And it's all to do with corporate gain and greed. And then finally, the thing you talk about is, again, you say about the input is not the labour. The labour cost has nothing to do with profits. Well, sure, that's total foolishness. I mean, that's lunacy talk you're coming off with there. I mean, at the core of it, at the core of everything, at the core of all economic enterprises is how you look after the people who produce the wealth, i.e. the labour. And if you don't cooperate with them, and if you don't do it in an organically cooperative manner, it will collapse. The whole thing's flawed and it has no sustainability, and the order will collapse. That's what we're witnessing today. Listen, we'll have to talk more about other things, okay? Anyway, think about that.